Everything started as an innocent friendship, dinners, laughter, and late-night conversations that seemed harmless. But one night, everything changed. He looked at me in a way he'd never looked before, and, with a calm voice, made a proposal that shook everything I believed about loyalty, desire, and love itself. I wanted to say no. I tried to remind myself who he was, my best friend's husband, the man I swore I'd never see that way. But there was something in his eyes, in the way he spoke, that awakened a part of me I thought had died long ago. And then came the part that shocked me even more. She knew. My best friend knew. And she wanted this too. If you're a man who's ever felt complicated attractions, or if you're just fascinated by complex relationship stories, subscribe to this channel right now and leave a like to help us grow. We share real, raw stories every week that challenge everything you think you know about love and relationships. Now let me tell you exactly how my entire world turned upside down. Content warning. This video contains mature themes about consensual adult relationships and alternative relationship structures. Viewer discretion is advised. The beginning. My name is Elena, and I'm 32 years old. My best friend Sophia and I have known each other since college, over a decade of friendship that survived everything. Different cities, different jobs, different life phases. She was the sister I never had, the person who knew all my secrets, the one I called when life felt impossible. Sophia met Marcus 8 years ago, and they got married 5 years back. I was her maid of honor. I gave a speech about true love and soulmates. I meant every word. They seemed perfect together, the kind of couple that restores your faith in relationships. Marcus was charming, intelligent, successful. He worked in architecture, designing beautiful spaces that made you feel something. He was thoughtful, always remembering small details about people. And he loved Sophia in a way that was obvious to everyone around them. I was genuinely happy for them, never jealous, never wished it was me. I had my own romantic life, a string of relationships that never quite worked out, but nothing that made me bitter or envious of what Sophia had. After they got married, the three of us became close. Not in a weird way, just comfortable. We'd have dinners together, go to concerts, take weekend trips. Marcus never made me feel like a third wheel. Sophia never acted possessive or worried about our friendship. It was easy and natural. I was single for most of their marriage. A few short relationships here and there, but nothing serious, nothing that lasted. I'd joke with Sophia that I was cursed in love, that I'd probably end up as the cool aunt to their future children. "You're not cursed," she'd say. "You just haven't met the right person yet. Or maybe," she'd pause with this strange look in her eyes, "maybe you're looking in the wrong places." I never understood what she meant by that, not until much later. About a year ago, something started shifting. Nothing dramatic, just small moments that felt charged with something I couldn't identify. Marcus would hold eye contact a little longer than necessary. His hand would brush mine when passing me something at dinner, and he wouldn't pull away immediately. He'd ask about my life with an intensity that felt like more than friendly curiosity. I told myself I was imagining it, that I was lonely and projecting, that Marcus was just being nice, and I was reading too much into normal interactions because I was starving for romantic attention. But then Sophia started acting different too. She'd watch Marcus and me together with this expression I couldn't read. Not jealous, not angry. Something else. Curious? Pleased? I couldn't tell. She'd make comments that seemed innocuous but felt loaded. "You and Marcus have such interesting conversations. I love watching you two debate about art and philosophy. You understand parts of him that I don't." That last one confused me. How could I understand Marcus better than his own wife? They'd been together for 8 years. They shared a life, a home, a history I wasn't part of. But Sophia would just smile when I'd protest. This knowing smile that suggested she saw something I didn't. The night, everything changed. 3 months ago, Sophia invited me to their house for dinner. Nothing unusual. We did this all the time. But when I arrived, there was something different in the air. An electricity. A tension that felt both exciting and terrifying. Dinner was normal enough. We ate, we laughed, we drank wine. But I could feel both of them watching me. Not in a creepy way. More like they were waiting for something, building up to something. After dinner, we moved to their living room. Sophia poured more wine. Marcus put on soft music. The atmosphere shifted from casual dinner party to something more intimate. "Elena," Sophia said, sitting beside me on the couch while Marcus sat across from us. "We need to talk to you about something. Something important." My stomach dropped. Were they moving away? Was Sophia sick? 1,000 horrible scenarios ran through my mind in an instant. "Okay," I said carefully. "What's going on?" Sophia looked at Marcus, and something passed between them. Some silent communication that couples develop after years together. Then she looked back at me and took my hand. "We've been talking a lot lately," she said. "About our relationship, about what we want, about what we need." She paused. "And about you." "About me?" My voice came out smaller than I intended. "Marcus and I love each other," Sophia continued. "But we've realized that love doesn't have to look just one way, that maybe we have the capacity to love more than one person, and that maybe we've both been feeling something for you that goes beyond friendship." I stared at her, trying to process what she was saying. "I don't understand." Marcus leaned forward. "Elena, I'm attracted to you. I have been for a long time, and Sophia knows. We've talked about it extensively. I'm attracted to you too," Sophia said softly, and my heart stopped. In ways that surprised me, in ways I didn't know I was capable of feeling. I pulled my hand away, standing up abruptly. "What is this? What are you saying?" "We're saying," Marcus said gently, "that we'd like to explore something with you. The three of us. Together. We're not asking you to decide right now," Sophia added quickly. "We just wanted to be honest about our feelings, about what we've been thinking about." I felt like the room was spinning. My best friend and her husband were propositioning me. For a threesome? For a relationship? I didn't even know what they were suggesting. "I need to go," I said, grabbing my purse. "Elena, please." Sophia stood up. "Don't leave like this. Let's talk about it." "Talk about what?" I asked, my voice rising. "Talk about how you want me to sleep with your husband? How you want some kind of weird arrangement that destroys our friendship?" "It wouldn't destroy anything," Marcus said. "It would be honest. What we have between the three of us, it's already there. We're just acknowledging it." "I don't have anything with you," I said to Marcus. Then to Sophia. "How can you be okay with this? How can you want this?" Sophia's eyes were calm. "Because I love you. Because I love him. And because I think the three of us could create something beautiful if we're brave enough to try." I left without another word, drove home in a daze, spent the night lying awake, replaying the conversation over and over, trying to make sense of it. The confusion. For 2 weeks I avoided both of them. Didn't answer calls or texts. Couldn't process what they'd said. Couldn't reconcile it with everything I thought I knew about relationships, about friendship, about right and wrong. But I also couldn't stop thinking about it. Because the truth I didn't want to admit even to myself, was that part of me had wanted to say yes. I'd been attracted to Marcus. I'd pushed it down, rationalized it away, told myself it was just appreciation for an attractive man who happened to be married to my best friend. But it was more than that. There was chemistry between us, a connection that felt electric and wrong in equal measure. And Sophia. God, Sophia. I'd never thought of myself as attracted to women. I'd had crushes on men my whole life. But there was something about Sophia that had always captivated me. Her confidence, her beauty, the way she moved through the world with such certainty. Was I attracted to her? I'd never let myself consider it. But now that the possibility was in front of me, I couldn't stop examining every interaction we'd ever had. The way my heart would race when she'd hug me. The way I'd feel proud when other people noticed how beautiful she was. The way I'd sometimes imagine what it would be like to be closer to her, though I'd always framed it as wanting a deeper friendship. Maybe it was more than friendship. Maybe it always had been. After 2 weeks of silence, Sophia showed up at my apartment. I almost didn't let her in, but curiosity won out. "I'm not here to pressure you," she said, sitting on my couch. "I just want to explain, to help you understand where this is coming from." I sat across from her, arms crossed defensively. "Okay, explain." "Marcus and I have always had an unconventional view of relationships," she began. "We didn't want traditional marriage with all its restrictions and rules. We wanted partnership based on honesty and freedom. Freedom to sleep with other people. Freedom to be honest about our feelings, about our desires, about who we are." She looked at me intently. We've always been monogamous because that's what felt right. But lately, both of us have been feeling something for you. Something real and strong. And instead of hiding it, instead of letting it create resentment or distance, we decided to be honest about it. With each other and with me. Yes, because you're not just some random person Marcus finds attractive. You're my best friend. Your family. And when I realized I was feeling the same things he was feeling, we started talking about whether this could be something real, something the three of us could explore together. A throuple, I said flatly. I hate that word, Sophia laughed. But essentially, yes. A relationship between three people based on honesty, consent, and genuine feelings. What if it ruins everything? I asked. What if we try this and it destroys our friendship? Destroys your marriage? What if we don't try it and spend the rest of our lives wondering what could have been? She countered. Elena, I know this is scary. It's scary for us too. But don't you think we owe it to ourselves to explore something that could be incredible? The temptation. I didn't say yes that day. But I didn't say no either. I started researching polyamory, ethical non-monogamy, alternative relationship structures. I was surprised by how much information was out there. How many people were living this way successfully. How what seemed radical and impossible was actually just another way of organizing love and commitment. I talked to a therapist about it. She didn't judge. She asked questions that helped me clarify what I actually wanted versus what I thought I should want. Do you have feelings for them? She asked. Yes, I admitted. For both of them. And does the idea of exploring those feelings appeal to you? Yes, but I'm terrified. Of what? Of everything. Of being judged. Of it not working. Of losing them both if this goes wrong. Those are valid fears, she said. But fear isn't a reason not to pursue something that could bring you joy and fulfillment. The question is, do your fears outweigh your desires? I thought about that for a long time. A month after their initial proposal, I invited both of them to my apartment. They came together, holding hands, looking nervous. It was strange seeing them vulnerable like this. Usually they were the confident ones, the couple who had it all figured out. I've been thinking about what you said, I began. About what you're proposing. And I have questions. Of course, Marcus said. Ask anything. How would this work? Logistically? Emotionally? Practically? They'd clearly thought about this extensively. They talked about boundaries, about communication, about how important it was that all three of us felt equal in the relationship, that no one person was prioritized over the others. They talked about taking things slowly, starting with just spending more intimate time together, building emotional connection before physical intimacy, making sure everyone was comfortable at every stage. What about other people? I asked. What about your families? Our friends? We'd tell people what we're comfortable telling them, Sophia said. Some people might understand, others won't. But this is about us, not about managing other people's opinions. And if it doesn't work, if we try this and realize it's a mistake, then we end it, Marcus said simply, with as much honesty and respect as we started it with. We're all adults. We can handle difficult conversations if we need to. I looked at both of them. At Sophia, my best friend of over 10 years. At Marcus, the man I'd been denying my attraction to for months, at the possibility they were offering me. I want to try, I said quietly. I'm terrified, but I want to try. The beginning of something new. We started slowly. Coffee dates with all three of us. Movie nights at their place or mine. Conversations that went deeper than they ever had before. We talked about jealousy and how to handle it, about insecurity and reassurance, about what each of us needed to feel valued and loved. Marcus was patient and thoughtful. He never pushed for physical intimacy before emotional connection was solid. He asked questions about my boundaries and respected them completely. Sophia was more nervous than I expected. Despite being the one who initiated this whole thing, she was worried about how our friendship would change. We had several long conversations, just the two of us, working through her fears and mine. I don't want to lose you, she said one night, tears in her eyes. You're the most important person in my life besides Marcus. You're not going to lose me, I promised. No matter what happens with this experiment or relationship or whatever we're calling it, you're my best friend. That doesn't change. The first time the three of us kissed was 6 weeks after I'd agreed to try this. We were at their house, talking and laughing like always, but there was this charge in the air, this awareness that we were building towards something. Sophia kissed me first, gentle and tentative. Then Marcus kissed me. Then Sophia and Marcus kissed each other while I watched, feeling this strange mix of arousal and tenderness. It was awkward and beautiful and terrifying all at once. We didn't go further that night. We just held each other on their couch, processing what had happened, making sure everyone felt okay. Over the next few months, our relationship deepened. We navigated the physical intimacy carefully, always checking in, making sure no one felt left out or uncomfortable. It wasn't always easy. There were moments of jealousy, times when one person felt more connected to another, and the third felt excluded. Times when the logistics of managing three people's schedules and needs felt overwhelming. But there were also moments of joy, unlike anything I'd experienced, feeling loved and desired by two people who genuinely cared about my happiness, being part of something that felt radical and honest and real. The complications. Of course, it wasn't all perfect. Real life never is. Marcus's parents found out about our arrangement when they showed up unexpectedly, and I was clearly living there part-time. They were horrified, called it immoral and destructive. Marcus had to set hard boundaries with them about respecting our choices. Some of our mutual friends were supportive. Others disappeared from our lives, unable or unwilling to understand. That hurt more than I expected. My own family didn't know at first. When I eventually told my sister, she was worried, but trying to be understanding. My mother would be a harder conversation, one I wasn't ready for yet. There were also internal struggles, times when I felt like I was intruding on their marriage, even though they constantly reassured me I wasn't. Times when Sophia and Marcus would have couple problems that had nothing to do with me, but I'd feel responsible somehow. Times when I'd wonder if I was settling for being someone's secondary partner, instead of finding my own primary relationship. We went to couples therapy, or I guess, throuple therapy. The therapist specialized in non-traditional relationships and helped us navigate the unique challenges of our situation. One of the biggest issues was my own internalized shame. Despite choosing this relationship, despite genuinely being happy in it, I couldn't completely shake the feeling that I was doing something wrong, that I was the other woman destroying a marriage, even though both Sophia and Marcus kept insisting their marriage was stronger than ever. You have to work through this, the therapist told me. Until you fully accept that this relationship is valid and ethical, you'll always sabotage your own happiness. She was right. I had to actively fight against everything society had taught me about how relationships should look, about monogamy being the only moral option, about threesomes being kinky experiments rather than genuine relationships. The growth. Despite the challenges, I found myself growing in ways I never expected. I learned to communicate more directly, to ask for what I needed instead of hoping people would figure it out, to be honest about difficult feelings instead of hiding them. I learned that love isn't a finite resource, that loving two people didn't mean loving each of them less than I would have loved one person. If anything, the love multiplied rather than divided. I learned that jealousy is natural but manageable, that it's an emotion to acknowledge and work through rather than a sign that the relationship is doomed. Most importantly, I learned that there are many ways to structure a life and a relationship, that the default path, monogamous marriage, two-person household, traditional gender roles, isn't the only option, that you can create something custom-built for the actual people involved rather than trying to fit into a pre-existing mold. Sophia and I became closer than we'd ever been. The romantic and physical aspect of our relationship added depth to a friendship that was already strong. We understood each other in new ways. Marcus and I developed our own connection separate from Sophia. We'd have date nights just the two of us. We'd text throughout the day. We had inside jokes and shared interests that were just ours. And the three of us together created something that felt like magic when it worked. Lazy Sunday mornings in bed, all tangled together. Dinner parties where we'd all cook together and laugh at our mistakes. Trips where we'd explore new places and create memories that belonged to all three of us equally. The present. It's been 9 months now since this all began. 9 months of the most complicated, challenging, rewarding relationship of my life. I've essentially moved in with Sophia and Marcus. We converted their guest room into my personal space, so I have somewhere that's just mine when I need it. But most nights, I sleep in their bed. Our bed now. We're open about our relationship with close friends, though we don't broadcast it to the world. We've learned who we can trust with this information and who we can't. My relationship with my own identity has evolved. I don't identify as bisexual exactly, though I'm clearly capable of being attracted to both men and women. I think I'm more person-sexual, attracted to specific individuals regardless of gender. Sophia is the only woman I've ever felt this way about. Our families are still adjusting. Some have come around, others maintain polite distance. We're learning to be okay with the fact that not everyone will understand or approve. The biggest surprise has been how normal it feels now. The initial excitement and fear have settled into something more comfortable. This is just my life now, my relationship, my family, in a sense. We're talking about the future, about whether we want children and how that would work, about buying a house together that's designed for 3 adults rather than 2. About making legal arrangements to protect all 3 of us, since the law doesn't recognize our relationship. The reflection. Looking back on that night when Marcus and Sophia first made their proposal, I can barely remember the person I was. The person who thought love had to look one specific way. Who thought wanting something unconventional made me broken or wrong. I'm not going to pretend this life is for everyone. It's not. Polyamory takes work, constant communication, emotional maturity, a willingness to challenge social norms and deal with judgment. But for me, for us, it's real. It's honest. It's built on consent and communication and genuine feeling. My best friend's husband made me a proposal, and I said yes. Not because I wanted to destroy their marriage or steal someone's spouse, but because 3 people found each other and decided to build something beautiful together. That's not betrayal. That's not cheating. That's not immoral. That's just love. Complicated, unconventional, real love. Final thoughts. If you're a man, or anyone really, who's felt complicated attractions to multiple people, who's wondered if monogamy is the only option, who's struggled with feelings that don't fit the traditional relationship template, know that you're not alone. There are many ways to love, many ways to structure relationships, many ways to find happiness and fulfillment. The key is honesty, consent, communication, respect for everyone involved. What Sophia, Marcus, and I have isn't for everyone, but it works for us, and that's what matters. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We share real stories about real relationships every week, the messy, complicated, beautiful reality of how people actually love each other when they're brave enough to be honest. And remember, your relationship doesn't have to look like anyone else's. It just has to work for the people in it. Disclaimer: this is a fictional story created for entertainment and educational purposes about alternative relationship structures. All characters and situations are imaginary. This content explores consensual polyamorous relationships between adults and is not meant to promote infidelity or non-consensual arrangements.